the largest hack in crypto history, and yet Ethereum is still up, up, and up only. It's the coin that's doing the most number of rallies and bounces right now. Is this a positive sign? Is this telling us the end is all over? Because usually when you have a major negative event like this, the largest sell-off, the largest hack in crypto history, or even in corporate history, then you would think that especially Ethereum will just crash and tank. Why is Ethereum bouncing here? In fact, it's not just bouncing, it's bouncing the hardest. It's bouncing the most. Look at this. Even Bitcoin's only up 0.5%, but Ethereum's up 10 times as much. Right? It's up 4.5%, 5%. Everything else is kind of down. There's only like this one coin, AVAX, that's doing better. I'm just looking at the large coins. ENS on a similar sort of pace, but ENS is part of the Ethereum ecosystem. Everything else you can see is pretty much underperforming. Lido is doing well. Lido, again, is the largest staking protocol on ETH. So why is all this happening? And I'm about to tell you guys what is actually really happening inside the sausage factory right now. How do I know all this? Well, let's just quickly get this out of the way. This is myself, and that's the Bybit founder, Ben, Mr. Ben Joel himself. That's myself. We used to hang out whenever we meet up, whether it's in Dubai or Singapore. We have chats, and I do know what's going on within the community. So I told my Discord what was happening, what was going to happen, and one of the big scenarios that I emphasize is actually playing out right now. So what is happening is basically a very interesting zero-sum game. It's a prisoner's dilemma. Some people call it a prisoner's dilemma. I call it a zero-sum game playing out between the major exchanges right now. The numbers fluctuate, but in my mind, Bybit is the number 3 exchange in the world. Number 1 is, in terms of volume, in terms of size, is Binance, and number 2 is OKX, ran by CZ and Shu, and Ben himself runs number 3, Bybit. So they're actually trying to screw each other. That's what I'm trying to say. The two larger exchanges are actually trying to take down Bybit. What the other exchanges are trying to do to Bybit and to do to Ben is a short squeeze. And you're saying, well, they didn't short any Ethereum. Oh, but yes, they did. Because what happened is they are holding $1.5 billion worth of Ethereum for their clients. And then when that is hacked and taken away, they now need to pay that back because everyone was withdrawing Ethereum. And to his credit, Ben and Bybit basically said, we're going to honor all withdrawals. So they had to borrow $1.5 billion worth of ETH, or 405,000 ETH, from people other than themselves, from other exchanges, such as BitGet, such as Crypto Fund of UAE, all those guys. They borrow all that ETH with a promise to pay those people back. Obviously, that's not for free. So in other words, you've literally borrowed an asset you don't have, and you have to pay it back. You've just given it away to your clients as they withdraw. So now what do? You have to basically buy it back from the market. That sounds like a classic situation of someone shorting an asset, in this case, shorting ETH. And Bybit, in technical terms, has just shorted $1.5 billion worth of ETH. Wow, what a major position. Because they borrowed $1.5 billion ETH from BitGet, from MEXC, from all these other crypto entities, and they have to pay them back within 1 month or with interest or whatever. So when you borrow that much and you have to buy it back, that's called shorting, right? The best thing that could happen to Bybit and Ben right now is if ETH was to drop and crash. Let's say $2,000. They buy it at $2,000, and if it bounces back, let's say they buy $1 billion worth at $2,000, and then instantly, if ETH was to bounce back to 2.8K, if they were to buy $1 billion, then that $1 billion bounces straight back to $1.4 billion. Now they've got $1.4 billion of ETH, and it only cost them $1 billion. So they made a difference, a profit, so to speak, of $400 million. And now they can just pay back everybody, and they're square. I said to my Discord, I said, but unfortunately in this industry, people don't play nice. They don't work together. These are a bunch of Chinese guys, and I know a lot of them, like CZ, Shu, Ben. They're basically in fierce competition. I mean, we're talking about these exchanges are kind of like their own private stock markets. The fees and commissions there are literally like 20, 30, 40 billion dollars a year across the industry. Who wants to give that up? And I'll show you how I can tell they're not working together. Here's the evidence. So as soon as all this thing happened, someone said Binance is sending liquidity to Bybit, thanking Binance and all. CZ gets on there and he says, no, these are user transactions, I think, probably some whale loaning to Bybit. Can't take credit for it, praying hands. So even though he's been very polite about it, what CZ is actually saying, no, we're not helping Bybit. We're not helping Bybit. CZ is really trying to say, hey, this exchange has just had $1.5 billion taken from them. They're not safe. Maybe you should take your money out and put it into cold storage, or maybe you should come to our exchange, which is Binance, the largest in the world. That's the trick. That's the dirty little trick he's playing. I'll give you an even simpler example. to help you understand this. You go to Chinatown. There are all these Chinese restaurants. The biggest one there is called Binance. There are second largest restaurant in Chinatown is called OKX, and another one called Bybit, run by Mr. Ben Zhou. Bybit, this restaurant, happens to be on fire. And all the customers are like panicking saying, have they put the fire out yet? Have they put the fire out yet? So CZ comes out and says, no, we didn't help them. Praying hands, but we're not helping them just yet. Hinting to you that that restaurant could continue to burn. If you want to have dinner, don't eat there. You can go home to eat, or you can come to our restaurant and eat. So guess what? As all those customers withdrew from Bybit, some of them went to Cold Wallet. They went home to eat. Some of them would have said, I need to eat somewhere, I need to trade, I need to use leverage, I need to trade futures. So some of them went to Binance. A lot of people probably did because that's the largest exchange out there. They probably feel safer there. That scenario was playing out, and that was my guess. I said, they're not going to help each other. In fact, they're going to try to screw over Bybit. And look at how accurate my prediction became, because Ben gave us a very clear list of who they're thanking. So he said, special thanks to all the entities who helped us today. These names, there's only 2 exchanges on there. One is BitGet and one is MEXC. So for the folks in my Discord, you know of all the exchanges that I named that wasn't going to help them. And I said Binance, OKX, Gate, Huobi, all of the ones that I basically named, all the big boys was in the Chinese crypto circle, basically didn't help them. Now, BitGet is run by a woman, a lady called Grace Chen. She's got a different, mentality, aesthetics. Good on her for helping other people out. So, but all the other guys, they're just not gonna help each other out. So, what does that mean for Ethereum price right now? Ethereum has to close above this trend line, above the blue, which is 2750 right now, and above the red, which is 2780 right now, to confirm that we have now broken above the trend line. So basically, if you look at this long-term trend line, which is the support line for this entire bull run for Ethereum, now we can see that Ethereum has broken down, and that's gotten everyone worried. And with this hack, everyone thought it might crash. I thought it could dip to 2400. It could still do so, but right now the other exchanges are trying to short squeeze Bybit and push it above this red and blue line and make it bounce like this. I'm not sure how long this short squeeze would last, how determined they are to put Ben into more trouble, into more jeopardy. But so far, they're not doing him any favors, because the best thing they could have done is to let price drop here, something like this, 2400s, or even here, 23, 2200s. Let Ben just buy it back. And then when it bounces invariably and goes up, then Ben can pay everybody back. On the other hand, Ben had to cover a little bit of his shorts. He bought 100 million. Like 2 hours ago, he bought $100 million worth of ETH so he could pay his lenders back, but now he's still $1.3 billion short on ETH. That's like 1 year's profit for them in a bull market, so that's still a significant amount. What can Ben and Bybit do right now? They need is basically help from outside. They can't push against those 2 exchanges, just bigger. What they can do, however, is hope for either the hackers to dump and crash the Ether Bitcoin at the price of ETH and go in and just buy it. The hackers are not keen to do that, because whenever they try to sell ETH into USDT, USDC, those stablecoins get frozen. What the hackers have been trying to do is send the ETH to a mixer and then mix it out and sell it convert it into Bitcoin and take it out. But they haven't been able to do that fast enough. Rather than waiting for the hackers to crash the market, Ben's get out of jail for free card is to wait for good news to come, very bad news to come out of Wall Street. For example, we just had that COVID come out of China news again, which seems crazy. Some sort of crazy news like that, or maybe Japan's going to hike rates, or maybe the Fed says they're not going to end QT. Some sort of very negative shock to the market, like a black swan sort of news. It may not happen in the next few days. It depends on luck. If something like that happens, then I think what Bybit would do to get out of jail is they don't have enough ETH to sell. Remember, they bought all that ETH and they gave it out to their customers. So what they're going to have to do is to sell the only other thing they have, which is Bitcoin, smash Bitcoin down to about 90, 91K, 89K as the bad news comes out. Then ETH will go down as well, then buy ETH and maybe buy a few other coins and then let it bounce. But again, that's probably not in their hands. They would need to get lucky because they can't beat. On the one side is Bybit on its own. On the other side is CZ with Binance, then with OKX, Huobi, Gate, all those big exchanges on its own. It's kind of like a tug of war. Bybit is not going to win against all these guys unless it needs divine intervention. It needs some sort of bad news from the market to hit. Then Bybit, I believe, will smash down Bitcoin. That's going to take, because that's all they have to smash down the market. That's going to take down Ethereum, and basically, boom, they can then buy back and cover their shorts. It's like a short covering. Thank you for your time. Catch you guys next time.